The Michael Loop, Chapter 5. The Weight of the Loop. Michael Morgan stared out the window of the time machine as it hummed softly, carrying him and Emily back to 2025. The events of 1977 were behind them, but his mind lingered on Emily's words. He was the reason the loop held together. Emily sat across from him, sensing his frustration but allowing silence. Finally, Michael spoke. If I'm the reason nothing changes, then how do we know we're not just delaying the inevitable? What if one day... I fail? You haven't failed yet, Emily said firmly. And as long as you keep fighting, you won't. That's not good enough, Michael muttered. What happens when I'm gone? When I'm not here to stop people like the architects? That's why I'm here, Emily replied quietly. Michael frowned. What do you mean? I came back because someone has to carry this responsibility forward when you're gone. Surprise and guilt washed over him. I never wanted this. I never wanted to be some kind of guardian. I know, Emily said, but sometimes the role chooses us. The time machine landed in Michael's backyard. Relief flickered and vanished. Emily scanned with her device, her brow furrowing. What is it? Michael asked. There's something new. Another disturbance. It's spreading, Michael groaned. Already? We just stopped one. Emily's expression turned grim. Someone is destabilizing the timeline on a much larger scale. Chills ran through him. Do we know where? 2065, Emily said. Michael leaned against the shed, exhausted. I don't know if I can keep doing this. Every time we fix one thing, something else breaks. You can do this, Emily assured. And if you can't, I'll be there to help. Michael stared at her, then nodded. All right, let's go to 2065. They emerged from the time machine onto a quiet beach at sunset. Walking along the shoreline was older Michael. The man turned slowly. I figured you'd come. I've been waiting a long time. Emily stepped forward. We need answers. There's a destabilization in 2065. We thought it might be connected to you. Of course it's connected to me, older Michael said bitterly. Everything is. Michael bristled. Then why are you just walking here instead of doing something? Because I've already tried, older Michael replied. Decades of fighting, and all I've done is ensure it happens exactly as it always has. So you're giving up? Emily asked. No. I'm stepping aside. The loop reinforces itself. Every attempt to fix it only tightens the cycle. The only way out is to remove myself entirely. What are you saying? Michael asked. I'm talking about erasing my presence, older Michael said calmly. If I never exist, maybe the loop collapses. Emily looked horrified. That's insane. You're part of why history is consistent. And that's why it must end, older Michael insisted. Before more could be said, a flash of light split the horizon. A man appeared on the shore. Michael's chest clenched. Who is that? Older Michael's expression hardened. It's him. The architect, Emily whispered urgently. We have to go. What about him? Michael demanded. Older Michael gave a sad smile. Go. This is my fight now. No, Michael shouted, but Emily dragged him back toward the time machine. He looked over his shoulder one last time, seeing his older self silhouetted against the architect at sunset. A duel of inevitability. Inside the machine, Michael's mind reeled. That wasn't the architect, he said suddenly. That was me. After I met with Dr. Emmett Klein, Emily's eyes widened. You're telling me that was you? From the past? Michael nodded. I remember that beach. My older self told me we could break the loop. I tried to stop myself from building the time machine, but that only inspired me to build it. Emily crossed her arms. Then why even try? Because I thought maybe I could prove myself wrong. Michael turned to Emily. We have to go back. To 2013, when I first built the machine. Emily frowned. And what then? You've already tried. Maybe there's something I missed. Reluctantly, she nodded. The machine roared, delivering them to a small shed in Merrick, NY. Inside, a young Michael hunched over his workbench. This is it, Michael whispered. Michael, Emily murmured, tugging his arm. We shouldn't interfere. Before he could reply, two familiar figures appeared. His own present self and his future self from 2065, walking grimly toward the shed. Michael froze. He remembered this moment. He had already stood here once, trying to stop himself from finishing the machine. He knew it ended in failure, because the loop would never let it be otherwise. Emily hissed again, tugging harder. Michael! We need to go, right now. Michael stayed motionless, watching history collide with itself, feeling the crushing inevitability of the loop, and the faintest flicker of hope that maybe, just maybe, he had missed something this time. But he froze in shock. Michael tore his gaze from the approaching figures and nodded. Together, he and Emily hurried back to the time machine, slipping inside just as the other versions of himself reached the shed. As the machine roared to life, carrying them back to 2025, Michael stared at his reflection in the polished panels. His thoughts churned from everything he had seen and now remembered. "It's all pointless," he muttered. Emily glanced at him. "What do you mean?" "I've done this before. I've tried to stop myself from building the time machine, tried to change things. But every time I do, it just becomes part of the loop." Emily frowned but listened. "That version of me from 2065? He thought we could stop it by going back to 2013 and convincing myself not to build the machine. But all we did was inspire me to build it." Her expression softened, realizing his meaning. "It's like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. Every action just reinforces what's already happened. So what do we do now?" Emily asked quietly. Michael stared at her, then said firmly, "We stop trying to change the past. It is what it is." Arriving in 2025, Michael stepped into his backyard, feeling a strange finality in the cool night air. Emily followed, her face thoughtful. "Do you really think we can just let it go?" He gave her a faint, weary smile. "We don't have a choice. The past is fixed. Whatever happened, happened." She hesitated. "And the future?" Michael looked at the stars. "The future's unwritten, but maybe it's not my job to write it anymore." Emily placed a hand on his shoulder. "You're probably right." For the first time, he felt the weight lift. For years, he had fought against the timeline, only to realize some battles weren't meant to be won. And maybe that was okay. Later, sitting alone in his living room, he stared at a photograph of his father and his older self in 1977. The loop wasn't something he could break. It was part of him. For now, that was enough. Michael lived out his days knowing each step was part of an unbreakable loop. After returning to 2025 with Emily, he dismantled the time machine, or so he thought. But the knowledge remained, and eventually, he rebuilt it. This time, not from desperation, but acceptance. In his backyard lab, he created the systems that would become the guardians of continuity, not enforcers, but protectors of stability. When he activated his first prototype, the glowing symbols reminded him of the device he had once encountered. He realized it had always been his own creation, sent back as part of the loop. The Guardians were born from his hands, as they always had been. One evening, Michael sat with his father, Anthony, on the porch. They watched the sunset in silence until Anthony spoke. "I've been thinking, for most fathers, their sons are their legacy. But with you, it feels like the other way around." Michael chuckled. "I guess you could say that." Anthony grew serious. "You've carried something heavy your whole life. I don't know what it is, but I want you to remember something." "What's that?" "No matter what happens," Anthony said firmly, "you've made me proud." The words hit Michael harder than he expected. He nodded silently, unable to answer. As the years passed, Michael saw the threads of his life weaving into a tapestry of inevitability. He knew he would one day stand on a beach in 2065, meeting his younger self, pretending they could stop it all, knowing they couldn't. He even left his younger self a folded yellow note in 2025, reminding him that James Metzger was the key. And yet, Michael found peace in that knowledge. He no longer fought time. He embraced it, becoming its companion. The Guardians thrived under his care, preserving history. Though he would never escape the loop, he knew his actions mattered. In the end, Michael Morgan didn't break free from time. Time was not a straight line but a loop, past, present, and future, intertwined in endless repetition. Michael had spent his life trying to escape, only to learn he was the foundation of it. He was never meant to escape the loop, because he was the loop. His choices, his failures, his triumphs, all reinforced the design. His life wasn't about defiance, but about fulfilling a role already written, though no less meaningful. The Guardians weren't external forces. They were his creation, existing to ensure history unfolded exactly as it should. Their purpose was preservation, not control. Michael's choices were both free will and inevitability, two sides of the same coin. He wasn't trapped. He was essential. Every pivotal moment proved it. 1977. Meeting his teenage father and James Metzger, setting it all in motion. 2013. His older self's warning didn't stop him. It inspired him to build the machine. 2025. His attempts to defy fate only reinforced it. 2065. On the beach, he played his part, knowing it could never be stopped. Each event was a vital thread binding the loop. In accepting this, Michael found peace. His struggles had meaning. He wasn't merely a man caught in time. He became its guardian. Passing his knowledge to Emily and others, Michael ensured the Guardian's work endured long after him. The timeline remained stable because it always had been, and always would be. His story was not one of escape, but of purpose. Even within the confines of a loop, there was meaning, hope, and love. For his father, for Metzger, for Emily. Michael Morgan's life wasn't about escaping fate. It was about embracing it. And as time circled endlessly, his legacy endured. The Guardians watched silently, protecting history. What had happened would always happen. Because in the end, time is not something you fight. It is something you become part of.